how we talk, right? We don't talk that way. So in theory, you can reconcile anything in the Bible you want. There is nothing you cannot reconcile. When I was an evangelical, I reconciled everything. And so I understand that. So in theory, you can, but you're talking about plausibility as well, right? We're using our heads now. We're not just trying to be kind of straight literalists who are bound and determined to reconcile everything. Second, contradictions if you have contradictions, of course, there's a range of reasons you could have contradictions. Okay, so for example, you might have two sources of information. You've got some account of the Second World War, and one source says one thing that contradicts what another source, one book says one thing that contradicts what another book says. It could be because they've heard this from different sources of information, and one of the sources of information was just wrong. Okay, so it could be different sources of information. With the Gospels, it's like that. The Gospel authors had different sources of information. They heard different stories. They saw different things. They read different things, and they may have different. That might be why you'd get some contradiction. Or, for example, you might have an author who has a different point of view, and maybe they change something. Like they're reading something, they disagree with it, they change it, and so that would create a contradiction. So it's just because of a different point of view. You know, it's not a bad thing to have a different point of view, but it could create a contradiction. Or, as Mike has written his book, as you all know, about there could be different we have ancient writing practices. Of course, in antiquity, they didn't write biographies like people do today. And so, of course, you have to understand how people in the ancient world wrote biographies. I completely agree with Mike on this, and we have to study ancient authors to see how they recounted both biographical and historical information. We have to read Plutarch and Suetonius and Tacitus. I mean, I spend my life reading these people.